Hi, Valerie.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Jackie Ellis.
Welcome.
Is it okay to come in?
Yes, ma'am. Come right in.
So how are you doing today?
Wonderful, thank you. And how are you?
Really great. So I'm just going to put my things down and maybe you can give me the grand tour?
Yes, it would be my pleasure. Just let me get my husband.
Okay, great.
Larry! This is my husband, Larry.
Hey Larry,
This
Jackie
is-
Ellis.
Hi,
Thanks
good morning,
for inviting
Jackie.
me over
Oh, you're very
today.
welcome. Thanks for coming.
So I was just telling Valerie I'm just going to set my things down. Is this okay?
Sure, absolutely.
And then maybe you guys can give me the grand tour.
Our pleasure.
Okay, so I'm just going to make some notes here in your dining room. It's a really great size.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I love your hardwood floor. Do you know what type of hardwood it is?
That is oak.
Okay. Is it original to the house, do you know?
It is original, yes.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
And on your windows, do you have any storm protection for the windows?
Well, Jackie, we actually have hurricane impact windows here.
Oh, fabulous. Great. Okay, is it okay to look at the kitchen?
Sure.
All right, let's
absolutely.
go.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have a lot of amazing features in here. You have that hammered coppered sink. That's like a farm sink, right?
Yes.
That is correct.
I love that your refrigerator doors match the cabinets and the hardware is fabulous.
Thank you.
I also noticed that you have a backsplash tiled all the way up to the cabinets, which is fabulous.
We do.
And again, the hardwood floors is carried in here.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And Jackie, if I could point out one feature that I
Please,
love.
please. Fabulous. Oh yeah, that's great. It really is hidden.
It is.
So this is fabulous. Is it okay to go out into the backyard so I can take a quick peek?
Sounds good.
All right, lead the way. I love the open patio, perfect for grilling. So I've written that down. I've got your swing. Are you leaving the swing? It's built in, so
Yes,
yeah.
we are.
And your fence, are you completely fenced in?
Yes, we are.
And do you own all the fence?
Yes.
Okay, great. Sprinkler system. You have a sprinkler system?
Yes, we do. It's on an automatic timer.
Okay, and let me ask you something about the utilities. Are you on city water here?
We are.
And who's your utilities?
We have Lake Worth Utilities.
Okay, so you're in the city of Lake Worth. And last question, I see you have an air conditioning system and the condensing unit's outside. How old would you say that Lennox system is?
We replaced that when we moved in about a year and a half ago, Jackie.
Okay, a year and a half ago. What month did you move in? I think I saw you moved in June.
That's correct.
So that would be June of 2016.
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, let's head back in if that's okay.
Absolutely, sure.
All right, so this is a really nice sized master suite. Double door entry. These look like really custom doors. They're stunning. And I love the pickled ceiling, and because it's vaulted, it really lends a lot of space. I noticed there's a ledge around.
We do. We have a loft up there, Jackie. It goes the entire way, so there's some great storage up there.
Oh, great, great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Great for like boxes, decorations,
Absolutely, yeah. Christmas
fabulous.
stuff, things like
And
that.
recessed lighting is fabulous. And again, you've carried the wood flooring in here, so it's very continuing and sharp. Looks
Yep.
great.
Thank you.
So let's take a look at that master bedroom closet. It looks amazing.
Sure.
Yes.
We love this area too. We've got our washer and dryer in here, full size.
Chandelier is an amazing touch.
Thank you.
Plenty of rooms for shoes.
Yep.
Okay, so master bathroom, awesome, beautiful. Shower only. Tell me about the walls.
We have Carrera marble.
All the way. That's just so
Yes.
stunning. And no door.
No, it's not required.
Wow.
Yes. And if you notice, we have Bluetooth speakers up here.
Okay, so bring your iPhone in here and the music
Yes.
plays through the speakers,
Sounds
entertains you
lovely.
while you shower.
Yes.
Well, everybody needs that. Okay, so I think I have what I need, so thank you for the tour. Is it okay to head to a table?
Yes.
All right,
Absolutely.
let's
Right
head to
this
a
way.
table and we'll dive right in.
Right this way, Jackie.
Before we get started, I just wanted to thank you for inviting me over. There are over 18,000 realtors in the local board of realtors, and each one of them would love to be sitting in the chair that I'm sitting in right now. So I'm both honored and humbled to be the one sitting here.
Well, we're happy to have you, Jackie.
Thank you.
So most realtors would start by telling you how great they are, how wonderful they are, how great the company is that they work for, and by the way, my company is fabulous. However, I don't want to start that way. I want to ask you what's important to you about the sale of this home. I know you're moving to North Carolina, so what's important to you about the sale of this home?
Well, I think, we talked about it. I think the most important thing is that we get our money back out of it.
Okay, so what does that mean?
We're looking, we put a lot of money into the house. We're looking to take $150,000 out.
Take $150,000 out. And what's significant about $150,000, if I may ask?
Well, as you know, we're moving to North Carolina, and we've got a beautiful house on the lake there, and that's what the money's going towards.
$150,000 is going towards the house on the lake in North Carolina. Anything else important to you with the sale of this home?
Well, we have a time frame. We definitely, we need to get sold quickly. I think, would you say, honey, maybe 30, 60 days tops, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So sold and closed by 60 days? Where you're physically on the way to North Carolina?
That would be our hope, yes.
Okay, great. Anything else important to you with the sale?
I don't think so. I think that covers it.
No.
So getting your money back out of it, taking $150,000 out to move to North Carolina, to that house on the beautiful lake where you're going to use the money for. Your time frame would be 30 to 60 days would be ideal for you.
Yes.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
great. All right, let's get started. So we have an 8-step process to selling homes, and we know that if we do all 8 steps correctly, we will be successful and the house will sell. So step 1 is understanding current market conditions. I'm not sure what you've heard about the market right now. Is it up or is it down? So I'm here today to clear that up for you, and most importantly, to share what that means to you in the sale of your home. Step 2 is to prepare a market analysis for your home, and I have prepared an entire market analysis to present to you, and I have a copy here to leave with you as well. Step 3 is one of the most critical steps in that process, and that is setting the right price. I'm sure that you'll agree with that. Step 4 is calculating your bottom line. We're going to do what's called an estimated expense sheet today so that you know what all of your expenses are and what you can expect to actually walk away with at the closing. Step 5 is preparing your home for sale, and should we decide to go into business together, we're going to be doing an entire new walkthrough with you to provide tips of our trade that can help you increase the value of your home. Step 6 is advertising and marketing, and unless you have specific questions on that, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on advertising and marketing today, except for to tell you that we're very aggressive in this step with an emphasis on the internet. Step 7 is quite frankly where our work begins, and that's when we begin to qualify your buyer. Everything that we do between when you accept an offer and get it to closing is some of the most important steps that we will do on your behalf, and maybe the #1 reason to hire us. So we're going to make sure that your buyer is qualified with a reputable lender, that the appraiser is coordinated, that title insurance is ordered, that inspections, addendums, disclosures, walkthroughs, and escrow money, that everything is detailed and that we don't let anything slip through our fingers, which ultimately gets us to step 8, which is simply getting you settled into your new home. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, so let's go back to step 1, which is understanding current market conditions. And to understand what's happening around Palm Beach County, I have a couple of quick graphs to show you. This first graph shows us that in all of Palm Beach County last month, there were 6,753 homes on the market, about 6,700 homes on the market, of which 933 of them actually closed. So what does that mean? That means that there's just over a 7-month supply of inventory. If no other homes came on the market, it would take 7 months to sell every single home that was active last month. That's actually a pretty balanced market. It's not a seller's market or a buyer's market. But to get a clearer idea, we want to look at your neck of the woods. And if we look at this graph, we can see that in your neighborhood, there were 49 homes on the market last month, of which 17 of them sold. So what does that mean? Well, that means that there was a 3-month supply. All of those homes would be eaten up by buyers in 3 months. So that's actually favoring a seller's market. So that's actually really good news to you. So step 2 is determining the value of your home. And in order to do that, I've brought some recent comparable sales to look at. I've brought some homes that are currently on the market that would be your competition, as well as some recent sales. So just to remind you, you're 2,400 square feet of living area, and you are 4 bedrooms and 2.5 baths. So this is the same exact model that you are. The only difference is that, first of all, it is on the market. It is on a lake, and it does have a pool. Other than that, it is very similar to yours, and they're currently asking $428,000. Now, originally they were a little bit higher at $439,000, but they have adjusted their price to $428,000. Here is another one that's on the market currently at $415,000. Now, this one's a little bit bigger than you. It's a 5-bedroom, about 2,700 square feet. It still has that 2-car garage. However, it does not have a pool, and it is not on the lake, and they're now asking $415,000. So this one, like I said, is a little bit bigger with 1 more bathroom. Here's one that is not your exact model. However, it is very similar in square footage, and we wanted to take a look at it because of its similarity, and also because this seller did something right to get a buyer to make an offer. So it's no longer on the market. A buyer has agreed to buy it. It's scheduled to close. We don't know what they actually settled for price-wise, but we do know that it's no longer on the market, and it is going to be closing. So they were asking $399. Remember, it's the same square footage as you, and it was on the water, and it did have a pool. And even better news for this home seller is that it sold within 25 days, within that 30 days, which actually matches your time frame pretty well. Scheduled to close right away. $399 is what they were asking. Here's another one that's scheduled to close and no longer active on the market. This is your exact model. There is no water, just like you. However, it does have a pool. And they're asking $425,000. And so in 87 days, that seemed to work out. The buyer, actually, I'm sorry, the seller was asking higher at $450,000. And then when they adjusted their price to $425,000, that seemed to attract a buyer, and they did go under contract. You stop me if you have any questions on any of these, okay? Mm-hmm. One more pending sale to show you. Again, the same exact model as you. This particular seller was asking $430,000, so this is the highest we've looked at, on the water, and it did have a pool, so lake and pool. And again, I don't know what they actually settled for because it hasn't closed yet, but I do know that the seller was asking $430,000, and it went under contract within 40 days. Now that brings us to actual closings. So the closings in this case are where the real story is. What are the buyers actually willing to pay? So this is a recent closing, and again, it's in your neighborhood, same exact model as you, and it did not have water, and it did not have pool. So this is a really good indication of what a buyer may pay, and they of course paid $365,000. And then one more, same model, seller was asking $380,000. This one was not on water, but it did have a pool. And so obviously that probably did a little bit better, and it sold for $380,000. And our last one, same model as you, on the water with a pool, sold very recently for $430,000. So that would be your highest sale. Do you have any questions on any of these?
No, I don't think so. I think we're
Okay,
good.
so then I want, just give me one moment, and I want to just calculate an expense sheet for you so that you know what my guidance is as to how you should price it, and then what your expenses will be, so that you know exactly what's going to happen at that closing table. Sound good?
Sure.
All right, we do. I'm going to suggest that we price your house right on the bubble or the bracket of $375,000. So why do we suggest that? Well, we know that today, whether you're a real estate agent or a buyer, one of your first things you are going to do is start your search on the internet. We no longer have those old-fashioned multiple listing books. It's all very internet-based. And when you start your search on the internet, you will be forced to put in a price. And so buyers and real estate agents think and search in increments of 25,000. So they may do a search of everything up to 300 or 325, 350, and you get it. So if we were to price your house at 385, we would be waiting for a buyer to do a search right all the way up to 400. So we want to come out in this particular range, and in that case you won't have to leave a lot of room for negotiation. So I've done your expense sheet as if I'm going to knock on your door tomorrow morning with an offer of $370,000. So this is what that would look like. Your first expense are documentary stamps. Those are 70 cents per $100, and that's a state tax that goes straight to the state of Florida. It supposedly goes to building roads and bridges and that sort of thing. And the 70 cents per $100, that particular 70 cents has not gone up in well over 30 years. So that remains the same. So the state of Florida is not raising its documentary stamp tax. The only thing that moves is, of course, the sales price. Your second expense is going to be title insurance. And in this case, your title insurance is going to be $1,925. Now, there's bad news and good news when it comes to title insurance. The bad news is that it's an insurance policy, and it kind of can be a little bit of a ripoff. It gives the buyer an insurance policy that you're providing at the closing that tells the buyer there's no liens on the property, there's no judgments on the property, your neighbor didn't build a pool 2 feet into your yard. And if they ever have a problem with the insurance or the marketability of their home, that they would now have a policy to stake a claim on. However, very few claims are ever placed in the title insurance world. So what's the good news? The good news is that the closing itself is going to come to you for the cost of the policy. You're not going to have to hire an additional closing company or a closing firm, or even it's not necessary to hire an attorney and pay those type of fees. The closing, everything from A to Z, will come to you for the price of that policy, which in this case is going to be $1,925. There are, however, some search fees involved, and those, if I gather those all together, those are going to be about $600. I want to tell you everything you're going to be faced with, so there will be no surprises at the closing. The next two fees are the big ones. Those are the real estate fees. And the first thing I'm going to suggest is that we place you in multiple listing and offer 3% to all of the other real estate agents that we could have the possibility of co-broking or cooperating with. So those are the Century 21 agents, the RE/MAX agents, all of the little independent brokers we want to invite to bring those quality buyers. Now, I want to be very honest with you on this fee. Now, the next few fees are the big fees, and that's the real estate fees. So I'm going to suggest that we pay 3% to a cooperating broker. So what's a cooperating broker? That's any other agent other than Keller Williams. We want the Century 21s and the RE/MAX agent and all the other independent brokers to come and show your property and to bring us a qualified buyer. So in order to get a qualified real estate agent and to bring us a qualified buyer that's going to make us a qualified offer, then we're going to offer them 3%. Now, some agents will tell you that you can offer less than this. You can offer 2% or 1%. I want to really warn you on that that is not a great strategy, and it could ultimately cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So if an agent does share that with you, I want you to run as fast as you can. Other agents will tell you to pay more than 3%. I want you to know that that's not a great strategy either. 3% is a standard fee. It again has not gone up since the early 80s. It's been really the same. And so the only thing that goes up or down is the sales price themselves. Our company also charges 3%. So yes, if you do combine those, that is a 6% standard fee. The only other fee here today is $3.99 for an additional real estate fee, which all of our buyers and sellers do pay. Now, if I were to add up all of your expenses, they're going to equal just about $28,000. We're going to pay off your mortgage that you have now that you said is around $200,000, which means when all's said and done, you're walking away with just under $142,000. So does that make good financial sense to you?
Well, Jackie, we were really hoping for that 150.
So right now it looks like we're about 8,000 off. And just to remind you, I did leave a little room for negotiation, and I'm estimating that a buyer's going to offer you $370. Because we've priced it really great, you may end up with $372, $373, which is going to bridge that gap. But I do want to share with you that this is a really realistic look at what top dollar looks like for you. And so, you know, I want to know, can you do this move to North Carolina with that amount in mind?
I suppose so.
Okay, so you ready to get started, and we'll keep that 30 to 60 day goal in mind for you?
Yeah, let's get going.
All right, great.